Listen, it pays to just be honest. It really do. It pays to be honest. Listen, let me tell y'all what happened. A couple weeks ago on a Saturday, I was headed to go take my son to his basketball game. This was like early in the morning, about 7. And something's wrong with my truck, so to start it, I have to lift the hood up and start it like that. But something, the part where you put it in reverse and drive, something's wrong with that. I got to get it fixed. So anyway, I guess the night before I didn't put it all the way in park because it's broke, so you can't really tell if it's in park. And I think I might have left it in reverse. So I had my son in the car, and I lifted the hood up and started the car up, and it back and it turned, and it turned in the middle of the street and hit this car that was parked on the other side of me. Now listen, I'm running after the truck because it did that all by itself. And so my son was in the car, so I'm running after the truck with the hood up, and it did all made this spin or everything. God is good. Nobody was hurt, but the truck hit a car. And this car was nice, So anyway, I didn't know what to do because I had never hit a car before. And I wasn't even in the truck, but I said, dang, what am I going to do? I'm trying to get my son to his game. So what I did, God said, write him a note and just leave it on the by the windshield wiper. So I wrote him a note. I just wrote him a quick little note. I put my name and my number. Well, I was all shaken up about it or whatever. So then I jumped in the car. I took heck of pictures of it, and then I pulled up. And then I took some more pictures of the damage of the man's car or whatever. So then I got in the car and I was headed to my son's game because I wanted him to make it on time. So when I got there, I said, I'll just call the police. No, I was calling the police as I was leaving to tell them what happened. So by the time we got there, I got a hold to the operator, and I was like, I hit a car, and it was a hit and run, but not a hit and run. It was a hit. Nobody was around, and I left my information. So she was like, "Oh, no problem. Just go ahead and go online and make a police report." So I did that. I did a police report and everything, and so then. So then later on, the guy called me. Well, it wasn't the guy, it was his son, but they have the same name. And he said, "Hi, this is so and so. I got your note that you hit my car. I was just wondering what happened." So I told him what happened. I sent them the pictures. I sent them a copy of my ID, copy of my insurance, and sent them heck of pictures of the truck and everything. So he's like, "Thank you for being honest." Yeah, the guy called me and he was like, "Hey, I just want to know what had happened." I told him what happened, what I told y'all at the beginning, what had happened. And so I took pictures of his car, my car, and then I got in the truck, I moved up, and I took detailed pictures of how the car had looked or whatever. And so I did that. And so now I did everything I was supposed to do. I told what had happened and stuff like that. Well, come to find out, the guy who had called me, that wasn't his car. That was his dad's car. His dad let him use the car to go over to his girlfriend's house for a party. And so, because the real owner called me and they have the same name, he said, "Hey, this is so-and-so." I said, "Didn't you already call me?" He said, "That was my son. We got the same name." I said, "Oh, okay." So anyway, he asked me what happened. I mean, I'm sure his son told him, but I told him again what had happened. He was like, do you have insurance? I said, you know what? To be honest with you, my insurance lapsed. I just got the car from my husband a couple weeks ago, and he was paying the insurance, and he didn't pay it since I took the car from him. So I don't have insurance, but I still gave him my insurance details just in case he needed to call to verify if I did have insurance because it had lapsed. So I'm feeling all bad and everything, and I told the guy, I said, listen, I said, I don't have any money. I said, but whatever I need to pay, I can make payments to you in payments because I just don't have the money. So he proceeded to tell me, I have insurance, but my insurance is combined with my house, my car. It's like a bundle. And he was saying that his what do you call that? When you gotta pay in advance, his deductible thing is like $1,000. And so he would just explain it to me about that. I said, well, contact your insurance and just let me know. So he was like, he called me back. He texted me. He was like, oh, I told him I was going to be doing a police report, but I hadn't finished. He said, well, can you let me know when you finish the police report? So I did the police report, and I texted him, and we were texting back and forth because I felt really bad on what I had did and everything. And then the guy said, you know what? I really respect the fact that you were honest with me, because there's a lot of people who hit people's cars and they just hit the car and leave. Ain't nobody around, ain't nobody seen it, and he said, I really respect your honesty and leaving a note because you didn't have to do that. I said, oh, trust me, I believe in doing the right thing because I don't want that coming back on me. Because somebody could hit my car and just leave, and then I'm all upset. I just believe in doing the right thing no matter what the consequences are. I just got to deal with the consequences. If I got to pay, I just got to pay. And he said, I really commend you for really being honest and being honorable in that area, And I was like, thank you. I said, hey, you got all my info. I gave him a picture of my ID, my insurance, everything. I said, if I need to pay anything, just let your contact me, or let your insurance contact me, and we'll go from there. He was like, okay. So anyway, he texted me. He said, hey, he texted me a couple days later. He said, hey, I found out that I only have to pay a $500 deductible instead of the $1,000. He said, do you think you could pay that deductible? I said, no, I ain't got no $500. I said, I don't have it. I said, I can make payments to you, but I just don't have it. And I said, but get back with me in a couple weeks, like around the week of the 1st, and I can see what I could do. Because he was like, if you could help me out with anything, that'd be good. So about a week went by. A week went by. And I texted him, I said, hey, I can give you $250 towards your deductible, and maybe the next month I can give you another $250, because that's what I can do, for my money situation. So he was like, okay. So so I got the money. I texted him. I said, hey, do you think you can meet me somewhere so I can give you the money for your car or whatever? He was like, yeah. I said, okay, I'm on my way. I said, give me time because I'm on the bus and I need time to get where I need to get. I told him that because I know he was going to probably drive to the location and I was going to take a minute. So I gave him a certain time so I could be there. So as I'm walking to the bus stop, he calls me back and he says, hey, I just want to be perfectly honest with you. He said, I just picked my car up And I thought he was talking about, I thought like maybe he had put his car in the shop or something else and he was picking his car up. But he said, I just picked my car up, and guess what? He said they did not charge me a deductible because I had uninsured motors, and he had some other stuff too. He said, I thought that I had to pay the $500 deductible, but when I picked my car up, he said I didn't have to pay anything. He said, so therefore I'm not charging you anything because everything is already paid for. Now, mind you, I didn't have any insurance. My insurance had lapsed. You know, but let me tell y'all this. This is the most important part. When that happened, the very next, I think it was that night or the very next day, I wrote a letter to God. And I said, God, I explained to God what had happened, even though God already knew what happened, because He knows the past, the present, the future, or whatever. But I gave the situation to God because in the past, I would have really stressed on this situation and just been all uptight about it and just been stressing for days and crying and just stressed out. But I'm learning to give all my problems and issues to the Lord because He's the one. He said, cast all your cares on Him so He could take care of everything. So that's what I did. And I had prayed about it and I had kind of like forgot about it and I didn't even stress on it because I had already gave it to God. So when He called me back and He said, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, the insurance didn't charge me, the place that fixed my car. I said, oh, you had your car in the shop to get fixed from when I had hit it? He said, yeah. He said, I picked up my car today and they did not even charge me. I said, are you serious? And mind you, I'm on my way to the bus stop with the $250 in my pocket, headed to go meet him to give him that $250. That's how you know the power of God. God handled it. He handled it. In the midst of everything, He handled it. And that's what I'm saying. You got to give everything to God. I mean, if any little thing, any big thing, give it to God and He will handle your situation. And he just said, the guy just told me, you know, I got my car fixed. Everything's fine. You don't have to pay me. He said, you know, I would have really felt bad to still take that money from you, even though they had paid for it. And he said, you were honest with me at the beginning, and I'm being honest with you. And that was just a blessing. That was a blessing. God will fight your battles every single time. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. God bless you.